can't speak yet, can you? No. Silly me. Silly me. Why did I expect an answer from you when you lack even the ability to speak yet? Maybe I'm an idiot after all. Maybe my supreme genius and my supreme intellect is not quite as supreme as I thought. Although I think more likely the situation is that I am simply mad, simply losing my marbles. And how could I not lose my marbles being a person of such supreme intellect in this world of mundanity and stupidity? Have you interacted with the average person? They're mouth breathers. That's all they do. Most of their time it's spent breathing through the mouth. Don't they realize that breathing through the nasal cavity is much superior to breathing through the mouth? I would even go so far as to say it is necessary. It is necessary. The hairs in your nose, in your nostrils, they capture all of the nasty little things in the air that we do not want to get into our system. It's a filtration system. And if you breathe through your mouth, then you bypass the filtration system entirely, and all sorts of nasty pollution and debris and things enter your body, enter your bloodstream, and they end up in God knows where, inside your organs, maybe inside your organs. It's crazy, my little amoeba creature, and that's not even to mention the aesthetic ramifications of breathing through your mouth as opposed to breathing through your nose. Don't you realize why most of the people today look like strange creatures, strange goblin-like creatures? It's because they breathe through their mouth predominantly and not through their nose. So they end up with recessed chins, poorly developed jaws, and they look scarcely human at all. No. I'm sorry, my little amoeba. What am I doing? What am I saying? Rambling like an absolute fool, like an absolute idiot. I guess I am just as bad as the mouth-breathing masses after all. I am a buffoon, an idiot. Anyway, my little amoeba creature, let me get some gloves on so that I might begin today's inspection of you. Okay, my little amoeba, stay perfectly still for me. No wriggling around in there, please. No wriggling around. I want to see zero movement, zero wriggling. No wriggling. This is an important inspection. Okay, important. Need to make sure that you're growing nicely, that there's no unusual genetic mutations occurring. I can't have some sort of mutant, a freak on my hands here. No. I must be very proactive in my inspections and my examinations of you, so that if I do spot an abnormality, we can correct it at once through surgical or some other means. Surgery is of course not the only option, my little amoeba, not the only option at all. Let me get a light, amoeba. Yes, yes, that's much better. I can see a little bit more. What I'm looking at, that is fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Now, my little amoeba, today I am going to be feeding you. Okay, one of the most important aspects of growth is nutrition. Of course, of course, of course. This is basic biology. The hard part in creating life is the initial spark of life, which we have already done with you, my little amoeba. The hard part is done. The most important thing now is to provide you with the perfect environment and the perfect nutrition for growth, for optimal growth, so that you might become a mighty little creature, and a companion for my golem. And also, I will ask you to do a few little jobs for me. Just a few little jobs for me. What is the point in having a creature if you do not utilize them fully? If you do not use them for evil? Yes, I can't wait to conduct more evil objectives with you, my little amoeba. You want to be an amoeba then? Though of course not, of course not. How on earth could I use an amoeba to achieve anything evil? Perhaps I could actually. Perhaps I could. That's an interesting idea. Perhaps I should think. Perhaps I should brainstorm ways in which I might use a simple single-celled organism to conduct evil. Yes indeed, yes indeed. Okay. My little amoeba, I like what I'm seeing. I like what I'm seeing, baby. I like it. It looks like you're coming along quite nicely in terms of growth. Now, I'm going to give you more of the special solution that I gave you last time, my little amoeba. And this is going to help you grow. I've actually made a modification to the solution. I've included digestive enzymes so that now, paired with food, this solution will increase the absorption of nutrition from the food. Those digestive enzymes, they're going to help you break it down and fully utilize it. Are you ready, my little amoeba? Are you ready? Plop, 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 plop. Oh, there we go. I think that is more than sufficient, don't you, my little amoeba? You are, after all, very small, very tiny little amoeba creature, You don't need a great deal, do you? No. But now, I'm going to feed you, my little amoeba creature. I'm going to put nutritious little meal inside that tiny little cell of yours. Okay, and you're going to gobble it up, gobble, and you're going to utilize it for growth. Utilize myself recently questioning the ethics of creating life. There's some more food for you, my little amoeba. There's some more food for you. You don't understand, amoeba. You don't understand what it is like to be a scientist and to be a human. There you go, my little amoeba. When you are first creating life for the first time ever, you never stop to think about whether or not you should be doing it. You simply think about whether or not you can do it. You are consumed by the process itself. Consumed by the process itself. Because what greater thing is there, what greater endeavor is there for mankind than to create life, to create life itself? God created life. God created life. So if I, a human, create life, am I not God? Am I not like God? God-like? So you can see why the process consumes you mentally, consumes you in every way, so that you never even stop to think for a moment about whether or not you should be doing it. You only think about whether you can do it. The process consumes you day and night, so that you think of nothing else, so that you do nothing else, so that you become so utterly absorbed in your work and in the machinations of it all that you forget even to take care of your basic physical needs. You forget to feed yourself, you forget to sleep. You become consumed by the process of consuming life, creating life rather, creating, not consuming, creating. You are consuming. That's what you're doing, my little amoeba. You're consuming right now, consuming some delicious, nutritious food. But, my little amoeba, you aren't the first creature that I have created. No. And so this time, I am not quite as frenzied with the process itself. I am not so utterly consumed about whether or not I simply can create life, because I know that I can. I've already done it. I know that I am capable of creating life. I know that I am godlike. I know that I am God. And with that knowledge, I no longer feel the all-consuming frenzy that I first felt when I was creating life initially for the first time ever. This time, I find myself thinking more about whether or not I should create life, whether or not I should or should not create life. My little creature, have you heard of the works of Schopenhauer? Schopenhauer? Probably not, actually. You are a single-celled amoeba after all. Allow me, amoeba, to give you a very, very, very brief and rudimentary explanation as to Schopenhauer's beliefs. Schopenhauer believed that the default state of life is suffering. And to give you an example of this, a very, very primitive and easy to understand example, I would imagine yourself in a survival situation, a very primitive situation indeed. If you do nothing, you will experience thirst, you will experience hunger, you will experience cold, tiredness, you will suffer. If you do nothing, you suffer. You need to exert energy and willpower in order to alleviate these sufferings that you experience. You need to find water to quench your thirst. You need to find food to quench your hunger. You need to build shelter to ensure your safety and your warmth, to be able to sleep, to get rid of all the aspects of suffering that is inevitable with being alive. And once you cover your basic needs, then you find yourself wanting and needing more constantly. This is simply the way of things. You will never be satisfied. It's the condition, the human condition, or the condition of all life. Maybe. Well, if we are to accept that the default state of life is suffering, and that the negative state of life is happiness, contentment, enjoyment, because you have to alleviate suffering, you have to exert energy and will to stop suffering temporarily, to experience happiness and contentment, until eventually, of course, the happiness and contentment fades and you return to inevitable suffering. If we are to accept that that is the state of life, the default state of life, is life good? Is it good to be alive? If you are simply destined to suffer, of course the ultimate end of life is dying. It's dying. Okay, I know we don't like to think about it, Amoeba, but it is. And that is a double-edged sword, because it is, of course, it's going to be unpleasant to end being alive, to forget all memories, for everything to fade away, but also it is the end of suffering. It is alleviation of suffering at the highest form. To die. It is possibly blissful. You will never again experience suffering at the end of life. So it is a double-edged sword, both good and bad. But what I posit, what I think about, is if being alive is suffering, if life is suffering, is life good? Why is it a good thing that life exists? Why is it a good thing that there is consciousness in the universe? Would it not be better for the universe to be devoid of all consciousness, to be just a barren place of rocks and planets and other celestial things? Of course, without consciousness, without conscious life, you wouldn't be able to experience these things. And would these things even exist as a result of that? That is another philosophical thing to think about, whether something exists if it is not experienced or observed. And a lot of people believe that that is what God is, that is what life is. It's God trying to experience himself or itself, whatever. The phenomenon of life trying to experience itself. Because if you don't experience itself, does it exist? Does it exist? Does it really exist if you can't experience it? If you can't see it, smell it, taste it, interact with it, how can you experience it? But my little amoeba, I wonder if creating life, forcing life into existence, is forcing a being to suffer, to experience suffering, because life is suffering. Can you see my train of thought here, my little amoeba? It's not quite fully developed yet, But I do wonder if it is ethically a bad thing to create life, to bring life into this world, because you are subjecting something to suffering where previously it would have been in a simple, blissful state of non-existence. It would not have experienced suffering. Of course, that is a rather pessimistic way of looking at it, because that is focusing on the negative. If you didn't bring something to life, then it would also not experience the good aspects of life, the wonderful aspects, loving people, loving things, simple pleasures of life, music, dancing, whatever it might be, whatever, curiosity, intellect, exploring things, experiencing things, listening to things, all wonderful experience, tasting food, just like this. You see, it's all quite wonderful. There are wonderful, beautiful aspects of life, magical aspects. But I do wonder madness, don't you think? Don't you think that is madness? If we are to accept that as true, then we inevitably will go extinct, because it would be our duty to go extinct, to end suffering. And you could take it even further. You could consider it your duty to eradicate all conscious life from the universe, to end all suffering. And that is madness. That is absolute madness, no? That's why exploring these trains of thought can often be dangerous. That's why some people discourage thinking and reading and looking at certain ideas, exploring certain ideas, because it can lead to extremism. Isn't that correct? Much better, I think, to simply switch off your brain and watch Netflix and eat donuts. That's what I think. That's what I think, my little amoeba. One day, you shall know the vast pleasure of switching off your brain and watching Netflix and eating donuts. The vast pleasure. Silly me, my little amoeba, silly me. I'm just trying to explain my thoughts to you and my thought processes. Sometimes I drive myself crazy thinking about these things. I drive myself mad. Sometimes I wonder how it's even possible to not go insane. How is it possible to not go utterly and completely insane? By switching off the brain. I think that's what it is. I think sometimes thinking is bad. Sometimes thinking is bad. Overthinking. Maybe just stop thinking and start doing. Start experiencing. Start living life a little bit. Even if it's simple things. Just enjoy it. Just enjoy the ride whilst it lasts. Make the most out of it. And we'll see. Maybe there is something beyond this world. Maybe there is something after this life. It's quite possible. It's quite possible. Maybe that should be one of my next experiments. To determine what is beyond this life. What is beyond this realm of existence. Yes. That is a noble cause. A worthy expenditure of my time. Yes, my little amoeba creature. That is it, isn't it? That is it, my little amoeba creature. Thank you for listening to me today, my little amoeba. You've been absolutely fantastic. What a wonderful listener you are. What a wonderful listener. I think I've finished feeding you as well. You are, after all, just a single-celled amoeba. You don't need that much nutritional food, do you? No. And with the help of that growth solution that I gave you earlier, I have no doubt that you will grow absolutely massive, absolutely massive. Okay. Now then, my little amoeba, don't let my little thoughts worry you or your mind, because I want to assure you